Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, I've made 2 videos now on door lock actuators for this '01 Ford Explorer, and quite honestly I'm beginning to think that that's not my problem. But I do think the videos have good information in them, both for door lock actuators in these rigs and to how to take the latches and all the mechanisms in the door kind of apart so that you can get your stuff out too. So even though it didn't fix my problem, I do think they're pretty good videos as far as information. And do keep an eye out for the video for fixing this, because I will get this rig fixed. Heck, for some reason, every time I buy a car, it seems like right after I buy it, all kinds of problems happen. Usually it's because I get them pretty darn cheap. And, hey, I wouldn't have that many YouTube videos if all my cars didn't break down once in a while anyway, so I guess it works for you. Alright, well, keep an eye out for those other videos. Have fun watching these ones. And '01 Ford Explorer again here, and unfortunately my back door lock actuator is no longer working. And since I did the video on the other door lock actuator for the front driver's side door, that one actually quit working again. So I went back to the guy I usually get all my parts from, my used stuff from, and he did tell me that they are having lots of problems with these, that they're kind of past their expiration date. So I went ahead and I ordered some new lock actuators for this rig. So what I'm going to do is show you the back one today. Because take off the door panel. There's a couple screws up here. I don't know if this panel's been off before or not. We'll find out. There's 2 screws right underneath where the handhold is here, and you don't need to see me take those all out. And then we got this piece, it's like a cover piece going around the door handle here. It's just a plastic cover piece, same as the front door. You just kind of find a spot and carefully pry on it until it wants to come out. And it comes out. Now I'm assuming, yet again, when there's carpet, you always got to kind of make sure that there's not maybe a panel behind it, or sometimes back in the old days, they didn't, I don't know if I'd call them old days, but back in the day they used to bury screws in carpets. They don't really do that on newer rigs anymore. Mostly you're going to wind up all the way around the edges, you're going to have some clips. Pull those out, lift the door up, the door loose. It was just a bunch of clips around here. Something I did notice when I was messing with it, when I was kind of doing a little bit of tugging. You got to push this forward and it actually pops out. It kind of holds in on these couple little tongues here, and then holds in with the screws once you get the screws back in it. So there's how you get to your door lock or your window switch here if you need it. Alright, quite honestly, I'm going to splice this in. This is actually at the end of the video. You'll see this hanging for most of the video, but because I've decided I need to finish fixing this, I do want to go ahead and take this door panel off. And I did realize after the fact, if you bring this, let's see here, up that way, it will actually fit right through the hole, especially if I smack into you. Fits right through the hole, so I'm not going to take any more apart. And the door lock actuator is right in here on the other side of this, and there is a rivet down below here that is holding it in, kind of similar to the front one if you watch that. And I have the key here, and I'm just going to see why or if this seems to be reacting like it should, because it's making noise, it's just not unlocking. So I'm hoping this is the problem. Whoa, power seats went again. I hate it when that happens, it freaks me out. Trouble getting my hand up in here. I popped this out of the bracket down here, and like I said, if you watch my other one, I took this out for the window track. It's what is it, 11 millimeter, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that with this one. This track doesn't seem like it really will move a whole lot, but even if it gives me a little bit more room, it might help. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take out the latch there. Yeah, that's not going to move a whole lot. It's actually right attached to that, but it might give me just enough to be able to get something in there. But I believe I'm going to have to go ahead and take this latch off. And it's just a matter of taking the screws out. I have a video on, if you're having difficulty getting screws out, how to do that. So we got a separate video on that. Go check that out. I've gotten things kind of loose. Popped some clips loose, which I'll show you later. But I need to get the mechanism, or the bar from the pole here that goes back to the latch loose. And what I got here is a 7/32, and there's a couple small 7/32 screws holding this in right here. And actually, I only really need to take probably one out. I'll just take one out. Don't lose them. Put them back where you got them from. Alright. This should push forward, I believe. Maybe. This out of my way here. Okay, yeah. These kind of clip in here, so you got to kind of push on them and push forward. Oh. Broke it on camera. There you go. Be more careful than I was. There's little things that you got to kind of push to get them over the edge, but they're not very pliable. Yep. Well, the screws will hold it in. Unfortunately, stuff like that happens yet again. This would be where I'd be going to the wrecking yard and getting my parts if I was working on somebody else's car. But basically, that should have pulled forward by pushing those in a little bit, pulled forward, and then comes out. Unfortunately, it just didn't do that. But there you go. And all I did was push it up, and it pops right on off. That should make it to where I should be able to get this whole mechanism out. Well, I'm hoping you can see this. Here we go, we'll try this. You got your lock actuator down here. That's what I'm replacing. Technically the boot's over the top of that, but we're not going to worry about that. And you got your latch, which is sitting right here. You got this rod right here, which goes to your door handle. Then you got another one right here, and this is the clip I was talking about. This goes over to your actual lock, your if you're going to lock your car from the inside with the knob here. And then you got this one right here, and it actually is one of these little clips, and this goes up to the outside door latch, and it clips right in here and hooks up into the latch up here. And all it does is it goes, there's a little U-shaped hook right up here, and it goes just right into the spot. It was actually real easy. The hardest part was getting this unclipped. And what I wound up having to do was get my big screwdriver here, and I actually went down through where the actual latch was in there to be able to, hopefully you can see this, pop up on this latch, because you have to pop it off of the rod here, and then the rod just pushes right out. It was actually this one was pretty easy. This one down here on the other hand was a little harder, and what I did, I went through this round oval hole here, and I went down in here, and I popped this open like that, which released this. And that you could really just let hang in your door, really, if you wanted to. Only problem with that is if you don't fix it right away or something, it could get knocked out and fall. But that just goes up on your, like I said, your outside door handle area. And the lock actuator is actually right about like that in the door. The other thing is there is a couple of clips where the wires, you got to unhook them. This one here actually goes to the clip that holds the door actuator in, that's inside the door here. And this one here was actually just, it comes through the bottom of the door down here. You could actually see it. Put a pair of pliers on it, squeeze it together, and pop it in. It was actually real easy. And our next step will be to unhook the wires from this thing. And that's about all you got right there. So hopefully that made sense to you. I did another door latch on my Astrovan. I actually kind of explained it, and a lot of this was very similar to that. So, and I was able to do a more in-depth explanation on that one. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this one the same. Although I have found now, just like in the front door here, there is a spring that is broken on this. So I'm really wondering if the problems with these doors might actually be the latches themselves, because there's springs in these that are broke. So I'm gonna have to look further into that, but now you know basically how to get your door latch out, get your actuator out, and unhook everything. A realization here that honestly I don't think it is my door lock actuators. I think I have a problem in my latches, and I will show you that a little bit later. But first I wanted to show you, because I'm probably going to send these back. At least I know I'm going to send these ones back. These ones, I got both these from my Amazon. This one cost the same amount as I got two of these for the same price as this one. But this is a Dorman one. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, Dorman. And it looks identical to what both the front and the back, and it comes with all the parts and pieces, so you can use either one. So I believe, although this is the one that I got for the back because it was the only one they said would fit the back, that it would also work for the front. Not positive on that, but the Dorman product is packaged better and looks almost identical to what is actually in the Ford car, even though it's still made in China. This one, on the other hand, looks absolutely nothing like it. It doesn't have the boot over it. The size is way smaller, so I would assume, although I'm assuming, so don't take this for everything, because I may be very wrong, but I would assume this probably doesn't have as much power as that one. Also, I would assume this probably wouldn't last quite as long. Although it may be a perfectly good product, it doesn't look anything like what's in the door, so I am going to send these back, and if I do have to get actuators, I will go with the Dorman ones probably, because they look dead on. But this could be a perfectly good product, and it was literally like half the price. I got two of these for the same price as this. This is the one I bought for the front door, because I'm having problems with the front door now too. So anyhow, just so you know, and these ones came from also Amazon. Both of them I got from Amazon, but this one here was from Auto and Art, is what's on the shipping label up here. So, but they might be perfectly good, and they were definitely a whole lot cheaper. But because they don't seem to be working for my application, I am going to send those back. Alright, and what I deduced, both from looking at the old front one that I put in, because I put a couple of them in the front here, and both on this back one here and the front one, I noticed there was a spring just kind of flopping around in there. I've lost the spring since this one just completely fell out, and I can't find it. It's in the door somewhere. But right now, it's locking and unlocking, and this would be the same as if I was locking and unlocking it with the actuator. Now, the doorknob from the outside knob goes up and hits a little metal piece in here. And when this metal piece gets stuck back, it doesn't allow it to unlock. Well, I gotta mess with it a little bit here. And I noticed it was stuck back the last time, and then I saw it kind of pry and then pop open is how I did it. How I kind of figured it out. And you can see it's locked in there. Now, even if you lift up on the doorknob part, it kind of hits it, but every now and then it'll get stuck. So what I believe is happening is up in here, there's a little bar right in this area, and it goes underneath a piece of metal that's sticking out here. And every now and then it falls back and gets caught underneath there, which sticks this from opening up. And so therefore it can't unlock. And that spring, I believe, should be hooked to that, and it should be probably hooked on something up here, and it's supposed to pull it forward unless you want it locked, and then it comes back and locks in. It's doing the same thing. This is almost identical. They're a little bit different from front to back, but almost identical. It still has that same on this one here. See, it's stuck. And you push that piece of metal forward. Yep, it keeps falling back because I don't have it hooked up, but if I can get in there with my finger and push it forward. See, every now and then if I push it forward, it's working fine, but then it falls back and it gets locked up. As soon as I push it forward, it works, and then it gets locked up. So I really believe that it is actually these are my problem. Unfortunately, I've gotten a couple of those from the wrecking yard as well, and those, they do the same thing. Because I've tried three. I have the original one from the car and two others from a wrecking yard, and the one that's in there is one of the ones from the wrecking yard, and it's not working all the time. And this one, I actually think I do actually have another one like this that's for the front, and all of them I noticed that spring kind of hanging loose in there, and I'm pretty positive that that's the problem. So if you're having this problem, it could be your actual latch rather than the lock mechanism. I'm going to go ahead and order some of these up, and this has been probably a ridiculously long video from now by explaining. So now you have an idea of how to take your latch out of the back door of your 01 Ford Explorer, also where to and how to get to your lock actuator. So this is Sam, jack of all, yet again, obviously master of none.